Hi, welcome to Enter the Bunker, where we launch you into thriving. Each week we talk about a different virtue that can be used as a building brick to build your own personal bunkers. We share personal stories, as well as tips and tricks to help you thrive instead of survive. So sit down, relax, and enter the bunker.
Hello, and welcome to Enter the Bunker's part 2 of Strength. My name's Kelly.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we're going to go over how to grow your inner strength. We have
Grow it.
4 ways here. All right. First one is, getting strong. First one is refuse to satisfy unhealthy desires. 2, strive to carry out important tasks. 3, be mindful of your goals. And 4, align your actions with your goals.
Here we go.
Okay, I went into this thinking I had good inner strength, but now after reading this, I'm like, oh gosh, what's it going to tell me? Okay, number 1, refuse to satisfy unhealthy desires. It is very easy to self-sabotage. This happens when you have a goal in mind. Let's say losing weight, but then you go and do things that sabotage that goal. When in reality, you should probably be eating well and exercising regularly. But you will have unhealthy desires. You have a tough day at work. You're tired. You don't want to cook. Oh, look, a greasy fast food burger. That is so much easier, so much more satisfying than the salad you were going to make when you got home. Do you stop? Many do. Should you stop? No. You should refuse to satisfy the desire for the easy thing. Do the work to accomplish what you are trying to do. Well, you can buy a salad.
This is true. I guess if you want to get your convenience, you would go through the drive-through for a salad.
Yeah. And a lot of places have you can just get a veggie burger and get lettuce for the bun or something. It's not always bad.
Well, again, it comes back to not sabotaging yourself. And
right.
so I can relate to this. And I've talked about this before,
yes,
where I'm
yes.
constantly struggling with weight loss and things like that, just like in our example here. So refusing to satisfy unhealthy desires is not an easy thing to do for anybody.
No.
We all have desires, and this is the difference between ones who can. Didn't we talk about I think we talked about recently about the idea that you're either disciplined and free, or you're a slave to your desires.
Yes, something. Yeah.
We talked about that
Yeah.
in one of the other building bricks, I think.
Self-discipline, maybe?
And it might have been self-discipline.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
So by practicing
Yeah.
the building brick of self-discipline,
Yeah.
refusing to satisfy unhealthy desires, you can build your inner strength.
Yeah.
So
it's a good one. It's a hard one though.
it is, but it's worth putting little if not reminders, but putting cues in your life when you set out those goals.
Yeah.
For when you know that there's something that's bad for you, just putting something there to remind you, physically. Sometimes it could be a note.
I'll give you an example actually. So I smoke, and that's an unhealthy habit. And my mom she told me to try to quit smoking, to fill a bottle with some water and some cigarette butts in it. And every time I wanted to have a smoke, smell it. Because she would be and just look at it and look at the way the water forms. And it's just the visual, you can smell it. You can touch one if you want and see how to,
Yeah.
So that's kind of what you're saying, lay cues out. I bet that's a gross one, but it might work for somebody.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, yeah, right. For some people, I mean, there's pain and pleasure.
Yeah.
So in this case, you're trying to take something that you derive some kind of pleasure from, but then you're actually turning it into something oh my gosh, this is so gross. I'm grossed out. This is not pleasurable at all. I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the idea behind that.
Okay,
And that works.
Yeah.
It works well. For some people, they'll do things I guess in terms of dieting, they would do things to sabotage what they used to love.
Mm-hmm.
They may not, maybe they'll put salt on their ice cream or something. Oh, actually that could taste good. Sorry, never mind. But
he goes home and does it.
Knowing myself, I'd probably oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
But regardless, the idea is to create those cues like you talked about. So
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Did you try that?
I never tried it.
You never tried
No.
it. So it could be something worth trying and seeing
Yeah,
if
why
it
not?
actually has some kind of impact on you wanting to go and smoke. Other people, they would replace it. So for example, instead of going for a smoke, they would use carrot sticks.
Right.
Right. So that instead of the action of like smoking, they're
Yeah.
just like, they're going to eat a carrot instead.
My friend actually used suckers with plastic sticks. So
Okay.
she could chew on the plastic stick kind of after the sucker was gone too. And just
Right.
having like that something, and it's something to pull out of your mouth, like in and out. So, and that worked for her. So.
And that worked for her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So replacing the bad thing with something that's benign,
Yeah.
so that habit just goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. So, number 2, strive to carry out important tasks. The flip side to not giving in to unhealthy desires is to make sure that you complete the important tasks. No matter how much you don't feel like doing them, there will always be times where it doesn't seem worth the effort. But it is always worth the effort, even when it doesn't seem like it, especially when it doesn't seem like it. Carrying out the important things will accomplish 2 things. 1, it will advance you towards your goal. And 2, it'll make it easier to accomplish that and other tasks the next time. Strive to carry out important tasks. What if you have a lot of important tasks?
So this is where a lot of people will, this is where the notes industry, I guess you could say, task managers,
Yeah.
lots of kinds of software out there to try to help people with managing their tasks.
Mm-hmm.
There's different methodologies for trying to get important tasks in or other things.
Yeah.
You can find even these timer apps where it's like, okay, you're just going to focus on this and there's going to be this one thing and you're going to spend 20 minutes on it and there's a timer go.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to be like totally focused on getting it done.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So there's lots of apps out there to help with that kind of thing. I think that this is a tough one. I am very bad at this myself. I have lots of important tasks. I sometimes get the important ones done in the right time. I sometimes don't. But I think that if you strive to make it something that's important to you, and then make it so that maybe you need to create new habits to get those important tasks done, then you can see more success with that.
Yeah.
But this is definitely how you're going to build inner strength, is by seeing those important tasks in front of you, and instead of not responding to them right away or getting them done in a timely fashion, instead of that, going and actually saying, okay, I'm going to set a date for this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to set a time for when it's going to be ready. I'm going to put aside this time and say, this is what I'm going to do in that time. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
And sometimes using an app like or tools to that effect is what some people need to get them through that. So I highly recommend like taking a look at what's out there as something that would be an assistance to you to be able to do those kinds of things. And then you'll just be surprised. I think a lot of people would be surprised by doing that in practice and being focused on it, and then suddenly realizing like, wow, I got so much done in so little time.
Yeah.
You know,
this works.
because there's just so many distractions in what you normally do in your typical day that this is the thing. The important things don't get done. You get the easy things done, but they weren't as important. And then you're kind of like, oh, I still have that thing. Yeah. Yeah. This is something I struggle with. And it just, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm beating myself up about this one. Cause I know I need to work on it more. Yeah.
But the more you practice it, it will make it easier to accomplish that and other tasks next time. That was the last thing. And
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because it's going to get those things off your plate. And it's also, again, the more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the end thing. Okay. Number 3 was be mindful of your goals. You need to know where you are going, what your goals are, what you are trying to accomplish. When you are mindful of your goals, you are able to follow the path that you need to be on to accomplish those goals. If you don't know what your goals are and don't have any, you will wander aimlessly. You will not feel like you are accomplishing anything because you aren't. This will weaken your resolve and desire to thrive. Sorry, I got like snot running down the back of my throat. It's like making me choke. I got a stuffy nose. Okay, we're good. Because you. I'm good now. But I forget what I said.
So being mindful of your goals is something which we've talked about a lot. Like we
Yes.
talk about that in a lot of the building bricks, because the truth is like, yeah, if you don't know where you're going, then you're going to end up nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. And imagine just getting in your car and just driving aimlessly. Where do you end up? Probably not where you meant to go. Like
No.
you really wanted to go. Right. So being mindful of your goals in your daily life, in terms of what you're doing, that is going to help you immensely in terms of actually getting there, right?
Mhm.
If we get too distracted by other things, or if you really aren't mindful in terms of like your overall vision, again, it comes down to the vision,
Yeah.
then you end up going in a million directions. I think that you really do need to be focused. And you'll hear this from a lot of people talking about how, being the most accomplished people tend to be very laser focused. They're just like, they focused on this thing and then they just like totally got it done.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the inner strength. And so it comes from being mindful of the goals and applying that to everything they're doing every day and what they're working on.
I think too, like, as I'm reading this, I feel like I'm mindful of my goals, but I think I need to reevaluate them and put them maybe in order and like prioritize the goals, because I'm mindful of them. Like they don't leave my head. They're there. They're just like scrambled.
Yeah.
And I need to prioritize them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even put them into categories.
Yeah.
So that you can know when
because it's not just work either. It's like work, life, like it's just
everything.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the categories will help. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to do this. Because I feel like, yeah, I am mindful of them, and people may be mindful of them, but they just don't know the order and the prioritization. Yeah, cool. All right, number 4. Align your actions to your goals. Once you can identify your goals and keep them in front of mind, you then must ensure that your actions align with those goals. By making sure that what you are doing at all times is done to advance yourself towards your goals, you build the inner strength to reach those goals. Before you know it, it won't even be something you need to think about. It will just simply be.
Yes.
Yeah. Because the more you practice, it's the habit, the habit forms. That's inner strength is a habit. Like, right?
It starts with a habit, becomes a behavior.
Behavior,
and
yes.
that's when you actually have the inner strength.
Yeah. And
So-
then things just happen and life's easier.
Yeah. And so your actions need to align with your goals. Think about if you have some kind of dream to, I don't know, be a dancer.
Yeah.
Don't work at McDonald's all your life or something,
Yeah.
because you're never going to actually accomplish it. Your actions aren't matching your goal, right?
Right.
So, and that's just a very random kind of or you want to be a rapper,
Yeah.
you actually have to show up at the studio to do it and
Yeah.
actually get somewhere.
Yeah.
So that reminds me of like
Yeah.
somebody we met recently who was like, wow, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to do all this kind of, and then it's like they had an opportunity to actually use a studio
Yeah.
and they didn't even show up.
They came
and they
once, I think just once.
just once.
And then the second time to get his stuff.
and then the next thing you know, they're back at working in a factory.
Yeah.
That's your actions not matching your goals.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have to start making decisions that take you in that direction. So
Mhm.
if your passion has something to do with, let's say it's in the area of writing, right? Then I hope whatever kind of work you're doing has something to do with writing.
Yeah.
Right. Even if it's not necessarily like, maybe you want to become like an editor one day.
Mhm.
Right. And right now maybe you're a journalist.
Yeah.
Right. So at least you're a journalist and you're getting that practice and you're getting, getting where you need to go. But if it was something like that, but you were just, again, working at McDonald's
Or construction. Working in construction.
yeah, because you need to pay the bills, you're just not going to get anywhere. And I understand for some people that's a struggle, that's where they're starting from, but that's where you start from.
And that's, you can have a pastime too. So like, you can have your 9-to-5 job, but then you can go and write in the evenings.
Side gigs.
Gigs. Like,
So
I feel like that's where that's stuff.
Everybody talks about side gigs, and everybody talks about the idea that that's where
A hobby too. It could.
where fortunes are made. Sometimes it's not necessarily a hobby.
Yeah, you're right.
Like you're going further than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for like, I even just thinking of my own journey, like I had lots of part-time jobs and whatnot going on while I was in business because I needed that extra income to keep going. Right. And so when I was younger, but the thing is that I never considered those things to be something where like, okay, that's where my future is, right? It was kind of like, this is for now, but the rest of my time, like it wasn't like, okay, after work, I'm going to sit down and watch TV. I never did that. Like ever. It was like, that was foreign to me, but for a lot of people, that's what they do. Like it's
go
like,
home,
okay,
watch the news.
After totes, I'm just going to jump on social media, or I'm going to watch a Netflix or something like that. But that just, you're not going to, if you aren't taking actions then towards your goals, then you're not going to build the strength to be able to actually see them accomplished. And I think that if people could recognize that you have so much time in the course of a day, yes, your job is important and it's there, but then it's the after hours where you can develop yourself, you can pursue those goals, then you can see just stop sleeping.
Sleep when you're dead.
But I see it all the time where a lot of people they don't take that extra opportunity for the side gig. That could take them towards their goals. And for other people though, they do it because they may need extra supplement to their job because they're working in construction. It's just not enough for them. And so then they take another job that does go towards their goals. And that's a great way to do it. Because the more that they work on that, then eventually they're going to get to a point where they can leave that construction job and be able to actually move to something else.
All right. I like it. So that is strength this week. Join us next week with respect. Thank you very much.
We'll see you there.
Thank you for listening to Enter the Bunker. Make sure to follow us on Instagram where you can share your story and also look at behind the scenes of how we make our podcast. You can watch the video version of this podcast on YouTube by simply searching Enter the Bunker. Tune in next time as we launch into thriving.